Okay, so hey guys, I just finished my Gladiator push, as you can see. I got it as DK HPAL, and it was pretty easy. I mean, it just took like a long time. You can see our record was actually pretty good. We won most of our games, so Havoc is really strong right now. So I'm just gonna go over the best build that I used. I'm gonna go over the new tier set, the best stats, and yeah. So let's start off with, I'm just gonna freeball this, okay, fuck it. The tier set is really cool now. Basically, remember that tier sets are nerfed in PvP, so it doesn't work if I hit a dummy, but anyway. It's nerfed by 50% in PvP, so if you look here, Blade Dance, Chaos Strike, Essence Break, that's 12% increased damage, that's pretty cool. So that's gonna be 6% in PvP. Then the 4 set, Essence Break, now applies and benefits from the effect of Cycle of Hatred. That's a non-nerfed thing. You cannot nerf things like that. So that's a non-nerfed thing. So that means our 4 set is technically not nerfed, except for the duration and the damage part at the end there. The other part is not nerfed. So that's pretty cool. Usually in WoW, when you get a tier set that has like an effect that isn't really nerfable, it means that your class is going to be pretty strong that season, or you're going to get some heavy nerfs. We can get into that in a bit. But yeah, so basically this means that our Essence Break can be in a 30-second cooldown whenever your I-beam is 20 seconds. So Essence Break is going to have like a 10-second window off your I-beam. So right now you see it's like 40 seconds, 30, and then with full stacks it's going to be 30 seconds, 20. So this means we're playing Essence Break this season. And this is the build that I used. I'm just going to go over a few things here. So first thing I'm just going to go over is the variations, where you can like change stuff. So right now I'm playing Scars of Suffering. I did this because I fought things that were killing me in stuns. So I thought maybe a bit more versatility would be nice. This is technically a damage loss, like by 1% or something. But I really like Trail of Ruin right now. So if you want to like do as much damage as possible, I think Trail of Ruin is better. Technically it's only like a 1% damage increase playing Trail of Ruin, or like 2%, but it's on your burst because your Blade Dance is your burst, and burst in PvP is always good. So this is good. So basically play Trail of Scars of Suffering whenever you're gonna die in stuns. So you're fighting Rogue Mage, Windwalker Rogue, basically just rogues. Scars of Suffering is really good. And then we have over here Demon Muscle. Demon Muscle got nerfed in PvP. It's only 5% now instead of 15. The tooltip is just reading the PvE value. You can change this for other stuff if you want. It's not really a big deal. If I'm being honest, in the whole push, I didn't really change any talents on this side at all. Just because it's so minor, it doesn't really matter. Because like, you change this for like 3% movement speed. Doesn't really matter, right? Because like, sure, like if you kick the healer, you get like 5% damage reduction maybe into like an Asa Rogue, and then the Asa Rogue has like 10% of their damage is magic, so you get like 5% of 10%, so that's 0.5% damage reduction. I mean, it's, I don't know. I thought, I just didn't really change much over here. But if you really want to like be sweaty, you can technically change Demon Muscle for movement speed if you feel like you need a bit more movement speed. You can do it for the Fear, although it doesn't really matter. Or you can do it for the Slow here, which doesn't really matter. Or you can do it for Fell Rush, which doesn't really matter. I feel like the left side, you don't really change much at all. One thing that I do want to say though is over here you have Burn It Out and Soul Cleanse. I think these are very useful into like Warlocks and DKs. So you can change Demon Muscle like here and then change this health thing for this. This is 100% like a real thing you can do. You can also remove this movement speed here for one of these. The only thing that's a bit annoying this season though about these talents, which isn't like last season, is that they changed the amount of fury you generate from Immolation Aura. They nerfed it a lot. So you don't really press Immolation Aura as much as you did last season in terms of your damage rotation. But that's what I recommend. So now let's talk about the hero talent here. So I only played Eldrazi Reaver. They buffed Eldrazi Reaver by a fuck ton at the end-ish of last season. Like middle maybe. So Eldrazi Reaver is just better for the people who don't know, Feldsguard has like a lot of PvP nerfs. Eldrazi Reaver does as well, like namely this talent right here. This one is like pretty nerfed in PvP. But this is not like the meat of our damage in terms of like the source of our damage that comes from the hero talent, right? But for Feldsguard, Demon Surge is omega nerfed, which is like the main like chunk of the hero talent. So that's why like you don't really play Feldsguard this season, unless maybe something changes, in which case I'll make a video. But and I'll update the comments as well. Like if you're wondering when you watch this video, maybe like a month from now, and you're wondering is this video up to date, just read the comments and I'll be like a pinned comment or something. Okay. So anyway, and then over here we have the Essence Break as well. So it's a bit annoying to get Essence Break. I'm gonna be honest. Like what we played last season was something like this. Or this. It's a bit annoying to get Essence Break, but I think it's worth it. It does so much damage right now. Especially if you hit more people, you can get like some really crazy AoE damage. And its damage isn't affected by avoidance at all, which means that you can also like kill pets really fast. It's really strong. So I'm just gonna go over the stats now. So I have 2 sets here. So let's hit this dummy here so you can see my stats. I'm basically playing like no haste at all, and then I'm going as much mastery as I can get, and then I'll just go versatility second. So you see here, like I have verse mastery, and then I have full mastery boots, full mastery head, and full mastery bracers. In terms of the tier pieces, I'm of course going with everything but the helmet, because the stats on your tier pieces are just verse mastery now, because you can just, in the catalyst, you can turn the PvP pieces to the tier, and then they retain the stats that you had on the item, which is really cool. So now you can just, because the helmet and the boots and the wrists are like really nice, like 1-stat items, we don't want our tier on the helmet. I do have a haste master ring here. I don't know if this is like worth it. Maybe it is. I don't think it really matters too much. You can, if you want, go a little bit less verse for a little bit more haste with 1 mastery haste ring. But to be honest, in the whole like time we played, I wore another gear set, and I think that's because I was wearing this ring, because I have way too low verse. So into a lot of teams, I was forced to play this set where I have 35% verse and way less mastery. And I did this because I was like dying to rogues really fast, and there was a lot of rogues, a lot of asset rogues. And basically this set, you know, I just prioritize Versa over mastery now, but still mastery is king. And I have like a haste verse ring here, but it's very low amount of haste because it's high on versatility. And as you can see, my haste is still fine. Like I lost 1%, I think. So I'm gonna be honest, if I was gonna play a tournament right now, I don't think I would go any haste. I think whenever you have the maxed out stats on helmet, boots, and bracers, you end up with very low versatility, and it gets a bit suspect. So I don't know if going any haste is worth it. I'll update the pinned comment and I'll update my guide, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, I think this is like, you need 2 gear sets. That's what I was trying to get at. You need to have like a versatility set into teams that are gonna kill you in stuns, because you're really squishy this season. And then you need like a maxed out verse set. And then we're gonna talk about PP talents, because I was gonna segment the stats into the PP talents, because there's like some pretty fucked up shit. Basically, you want to play Glimpse every game, of course. You want to play Blood Moon every game. They changed Blood Moon. Blood Moon before did the same thing it does now, but the chance of getting the Greater Soul, which increases your damage by 20% for 15 seconds, that probability was influenced by the amount of buffs you removed with Consume Magic. But now it's the 15% flat, which I think is a damage buff, but I'm not 100%. But it's really awesome. So now like Consuming Magic is like way more powerful into everything. It's way more consistent. Whereas before it was a bit more, your damage was way higher into teams like Rescue Druids and stuff like that, where you had a lot of stuff to purge all the time. And then for your third talent, this is the optional one, so these two are mandatory. For your optional one, you can either go Detainment, which is very, very useful for like peeling, mainly peeling to be honest. And also you can technically do it like when people are low. I do this very rarely. You can also do it because they get immune to healing. You can also do it on the healer and it's a 1 second longer, but I would never play this for the CC part of it. For the healer, I would only do it for peeling. And it's very powerful for peeling because peeling is OP. You can also play reverse. I'll be honest, I played reverse 1 game, I think, or maybe 2 out of, how many games did I play? 170. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. Reverse is fine. The thing is though, like reverse is fine. It's fine. It's not bad. But I feel like incapping people on their damage is almost so much better. Because CC doesn't last much, like very long anymore, right? Because they nerfed the duration in CC in PvP. So I just think incap is just like so good. But you can still play reverse sometimes. I mean, there's still times, I think the game where I played reverse was into like a warlock and a mage or something. In that case, I think it's fine. If I was playing with an evoker, I think I would play reverse as well more. I was playing with a holy paladin, and holy paladin can avoid CC pretty easily, but the evoker would get perma CC'd into the mage warlock, right? So in this case, I would probably play reverse. But because my paladin could avoid CC pretty easily, I didn't really play much reverse. You can also play Illidan's Grasp. This has the same logic as Detainment though. So usually you play Detainment over Illidan's Grasp, but if you're for some reason finding yourself able to incap defensively without it getting dispelled, maybe you're like very low rating, so the healer is not very aware, or you're playing maybe like a 2s match or something, or you're playing, I don't know. If you're able to incap defensively, then I think Illidan's Grasp is insane because now you have another peel, which is really nice because Illidan's Grasp is a 5-second stun and you can throw them afterwards, which is really cool. So if you can like incap someone into an Illidan's Grasp, you just lock them up for 8 seconds, right? It's crazy. And then the thing that I want to talk about in terms of stats to segue into this was Rain from Above, because Rain from Above right now is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, and it's a bit weird because it wasn't crazy last season. And my my theory on why it's crazy is because our secondary stats are hitting like the exact ceiling of how high they can get before DRs. So right now I'm at 10% mastery DR. Next season I'm gonna be like 30 or something. So at that point, like the amount of secondary stats I have compared to my health is gonna be way lower, right? But the ratio to like your main stats to your health right now is pretty crazy, like really high, which means that you can stack a lot of secondary stats in terms of your health, like the ratio. And Rain from Above scales off the health of your enemy. So if the ratio on your health and secondary stats is good, like it's at the max amount, Rain from Above is like doing the most damage possible. So right now it's hitting for like 200k-ish every time I press it, like every time I do the Fell Lance. And it scales off your Demon proc as well. And because you're getting Demon procs a bit more consistently now with Blood Moon, you can like kind of fish for a Demon proc. Like when I say Demon proc, what I mean is the Greater Soul here. You can fish for Demon proc and you can fly. And now your fly is modified by your mastery, so it's increased by 106%, and then it's increased by 20% on top of that from your demon proc. So I think it's pretty insane. And then what you usually want to do when you press fly is you want to I-beam so that you're in meta, and you get the Furious Gaze because it scales off haste. As you can see, like my globals are way faster, right? It's pretty insane. But what's important to note though is that it does percentage health damage. Now this dummy has pretty much the same health as players, so what I just did there is going to happen to players as well. But what's interesting is that because it's percentage health based, in metas where warlocks are good and druids are good, Rain from Above is also like very good because warlocks have higher base health, so your Rain from Above is going to do more damage to them. And when a druid goes into bear form, they're gonna have higher base health, which means your rain from above is gonna do more damage to them. So I ended up playing this like a bit later into the grind, I think for like the last 50 games or so, but I played it quite a few games, and it's quite insane. So I would definitely play this if you're able to, because it's just so much damage. So if you can play this instead of Incap, I would definitely recommend doing this. But most of the games you will still have to play Incap, because the game is like, it's just easier to play not to die than play to like kill the enemy, usually. Like, it's just easier. If you just throw your CC on the enemy when they're doing their damage, it's like, it's so much easier to win. But I will say, if you're in a situation where it doesn't really matter, I would play it from above. So like as a scenario where I played it from above was like, we played DHTK HPL, right? And we fought a warrior, in-hand shaman, resident druid. So in this scenario, you know, it's just like a meat brawler. And we are going to lose on mana because the resident druid has better mana than my holy paladin. So playing to not lose will lose us the game because our paladin is going to lose on mana. So in that case, playing to tame it didn't make sense. So we had to play to win. So then I played it from above, and what we do is that we would like swap on hots, and then we would sometimes go druid, and then on the druid goes, I can do I-beam into fly, and then I'll blast the druid, and if the druid goes bear form, they'll take a lot of damage. And then of course the shaman's going to ground, in which case you have to make sure that your Death Knight kills the grounding very fast, because the grounding kind of counters right from above. But yeah, so that's basically the talents. I'm not gonna do a whole guide on like the damage rotation, because first of all, I have a website that you can look at. I'll link it in the comments. That goes like into like super in-depth detail about a bunch of topics about PvP, like peeling and target selection and strategizing and all this stuff, and also the damage rotation. And there's like a million sources on how to do your damage rotation on Demon Hunter. And because our build right now is the same as the PvE, it's very similar. So I don't really want to go into that, but I'm just going to talk about Essence Break a little bit, because Essence Break is a bit different than it's been in the past. So Essence Break right now is a flat damage increase. So it's not a percentage damage increase. In the past, it used to be a percentage thing. So it actually mattered if you were in meta when you pressed it, but now it doesn't, because it's just based on how many hits you do into it. So you see here, the 70k, and then I press Care Strike, and you see there's like a 40k that like flew out. That's the Essence Break part, which is just like, it does damage when you do Care Strikes or Blade into it. So the way you want to like use Essence Break is usually about if you're in meta, because you have more haste, which means you can get more globals into it. But if you're not in meta, it's not a big deal. But of course, it's ideal if you're in meta. But because your Essence Break and your I-beam doesn't line up anyway, it's completely fine to use Essence Break just in terms of your damage rotation. That's fine as well. It's not a big deal. So like here, you know, if I press I-beam here, let's say my Essence Break was on cooldown, that's fine. I would just like do my, you know, 1, 2, 3 kind of thing here. And then when I come out of it, I would press, you know, maybe I'm doing my damage rotation, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm looking at my action bars, and I'm like, okay, I don't have I-beam, but I have Essence Break. Okay, I will just do Essence Break here and just do Blades into Care Strikes. That's fine too. It's not a big deal. And there is technically some like haste break points in terms of getting the optimal amount of globals into Essence Break, because it scales of how many globals you can put into it. But you kind of hit that naturally with the insignia here and the haste you get from Thrill of the Fight. So you can technically make an argument that if you're gonna play Felsguard, then you have a bit less haste. So in that case, you have to get more haste, so you need this ring, and you technically also need like the neck. But now you're squishy as fuck, and you're like no fucking versatility. So now you need less mastery for the haste, and now you're kind of fucking yourself, because now you're not stacking mastery as Felsguard, which is like a bit cooked. That's another reason why Felsguard is bad. Like, don't even think about playing Felsguard. It's bad. I did try, trust me. But yeah, that's basically it, I think. Pretty fun stuff grinding for this. In terms of like your crafts, I have weapons here. I would not do this. This is a horrible idea. I only did it just so that I could be a bit OP in the first 2 weeks when I'm gonna grind for this Gladiator mount. I would recommend you just get like your rings and neck ASAP. Get your tier set ASAP, and just craft everything. Get Arcana Weave, because Arcana Weave is just better right now. Get Arcane Mastery on weapons, because it's just better right now. Secondary stat scales better with eye level. And Arcana Weave scales with eye level. The other weapon embellishments don't, so I don't use them. Of course, because, and then the rest is just following the stat priority, right? So your main stat is, you know, on chest, highest thing you can get, there's nothing else. And then on your rings, of course, you go Mastery, because the Mastery is the highest priority for you. And then for gems, it's the same thing, same logic. Your Mastery is your best stat, and then Versatility your second best stat. So for gems, you go Mastery Versatility. Makes sense. And then for your helmet, shoulders, and boot enchant, you of course go with the Leech, because we don't need movement speed, because we can just Fel Rush a lot, you know, it's not a big deal. And then for your legs, of course, you go with the same one as always, agility and stamina. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna go and play some more 3s now. I hope this was useful. I kind of just rambled a bit, but I need to make the Devour guide as well, so I'm a bit fucked on time. But if you want, I have a website as well, same as Plug. There's a bunch of cool information. I'll put it in the description. There's a free version and a paid version. If you don't want to buy it, that's fine. All the information I just talked about is on there. There's links to my build, everything. And if you want to support me, I really appreciate it. But if you can afford it, that's completely fine as well. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you're welcome in my stream anytime. I love you. Peace.